Now, through the miracles of modern technology, zany worldwide banner featuring Tom, Michelle, and Jim in an on-topic, off-topic free-for-all. Welcome to the Gun Talk After Show.
All right, it's the After Show where we talk about this and that, and a lot of times it's the other thing. We have Jim Kinsey running the board over there. Hello, Jim.
Greetings, sir.
And, of course, Michelle Cleland, who was, at least until this moment, the call screener and basically a counselor for our callers.
Wow, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yes, that's right. You do counseling as well as screening when you're over there.
That's true. It's a very well-rounded position. I enjoy it.
You'd be surprised at how many calls don't make it to you, Tom.
That's not true.
She answers them. They go, "Okay, thanks a lot. I'm out of here. Thanks. I don't need Tom anymore."
I don't need to talk to Tom. You can probably answer this for me.
I got this. Okay.
No,
now they just call and say, "Hey, Michelle, could you tell me?" And I never know it's happening. She's over there just kind of talking and going, "Got taken care of."
Now, the truth be told, she does very good at her screening the worthiness of the calls.
And then she says, "I'm sorry, nobody called today, Tom."
It's all very scientifical, Tom.
There you go. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. No doubt. Oh, gosh. No doubt. So, how was your Thanksgiving?
Mine was awesome. Thank you. Yep, we had a great time getting together with everybody. The week before that, I was able to take my sister out to our indoor pistol range and have her shoot a firearm. She hasn't done that for a long time. And, of course, what did I give her? I gave her my new little Ruger.
Yes, and she like it?
Yes, she did. And my mother-in-law came out because I asked her if she wanted to try it as well. And I have to tell you, we've been in the business for a long time, and she was super impressed. So hats off to Ruger because that speaks volumes. She had said if there was ever anything off the shelf she were to buy again, that would have to be the first consideration.
Wow.
That's quite an endorsement.
Testimony.
We're talking about the Ruger LCR, their revolver in .327 Federal.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we've got some folks who called in, so we ought to at least allow them in here, and then we'll yak again in just a second. So let's start off with Stephen. He's in Kathleen, Georgia. Hey, Stephen, you went shooting?
Certainly did, Friday.
Yeah? Who'd you take out?
Well, I got the opportunity to take three of my sons, a grandson, and a son-in-law.
Yeah,
Yes.
3 generations.
Yes.
So talk to me. Tell me about it. What'd you shoot? What'd you do?
We had AR-15s. My grandson was shooting an AR-15 in .22 caliber.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he was doing really good. He was taking out clay targets at 75 yards.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. But the really surprising one was the son-in-law. He had only ever shot a shotgun at some time in his life. He's from Idaho. He grew up in the city, and he never shot before, like I say, except a shotgun. So I gave him a buckmark camper and set up a target with 5 little targets on a sheet of paper. Mm-hmm. And he proceeded to punch the center out of the middle target.
Awesome.
And,
wow.
And that was, I guess, getting boring. So then he went around just in rapid fire and took out the 4 other targets.
And let me guess, he's having a ball at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to give you a little perspective. This kid hadn't quite figured out the whole Southern redneck thing. And
okay.
Yeah, I mean he's figured out grits and biscuits and cornbread. So there's hope for him yet.
That's right. Now we got to introduce him to guns.
Yes. So the next thing I gave him was a .38 special, and put up another target for him, and he proceeded to do the same thing with it. So I don't know. He's got a natural talent there, I guess.
It sounds like it. I'm thinking maybe you keep this up, there's no telling he'll be buying his own guns pretty soon.
Well, he already has bought a shotgun for home defense. and he shot it a little bit at clay targets and did quite well. He missed a couple of three of those, but nonetheless, considering the very first time, he did really good.
Look, clay targets are hard because you've got a flying target and you're going to try to intercept it with a cloud of pellets, and you don't know how far ahead of it to shoot. You don't know how to do it. And it's all happening fast, and people tend to want to shoot faster than they have to because they're afraid it's going to get away, and it takes a little while to kind of settle into it. So I would sure cut people slack when they get started on clay targets.
Well, he did quite well. I'm not shorting him anything on that either.
Oh, good. That's great. Well, congrats on taking the family out. I mean, shoot pictures and send them around and share them on Facebook and the whole deal. You know how that goes.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. That was a fabulous range report, taking the family out. Basically, that's what I did, guys. Went out after we did the turkey. We cleaned up the kitchen, then we immediately went out and shot. We must have had a dozen people out there, including the 3 teenagers I've talked about. That was fun. One of the teenagers is the, beauty queen, head cheerleader, high school, and she's just taking that shotgun and crushing clays out there. It was a hoot. All right, Richard is in Portland, Oregon, where I'm going to actually be in Oregon in about 2 weeks. Hey, Richard, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. What you looking for here?
Well, my son wants to buy one of those, I think it's a Ruger tactical rifle, their new one. And he's trying to decide between I think it's chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, or is it...
Right, there's a 6.5 Creedmoor, also a 243 and a 308.
Right, and I told him, both Creedmoor is supposed to be a really good cartridge, but he said he's been reading where it wears out the barrel faster. I don't know if that's a truth or not, but I told him that 243 would be less kick and more pleasant to shoot, and it's probably just as accurate as the others.
How old is he?
Well, he's in his 30s, so...
Oh, okay, so he's an adult. All right. I guess the question becomes how much will he shoot it, because it may be possible that the 6.5 wears barrels out more quickly. If it does, it would be just a little bit. But we're talking about at least getting beyond 5,000 rounds before that happens, and maybe close to 10,000 rounds.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I'm trying to talk him out of buying the thing in the first place. I want him to buy his wife a concealed carry pistol instead, and then he can buy that later on if he really thinks he needs it. He's not a hunter, so, he just wants to target practice with it. I said, well, you got an AR, you can target practice with that. Buy your wife
Where do they live?
Eugene, Oregon, the land of the liberals.
Yes. But you also have some shooting schools around there. Here's the problem, is trying to get a wife a concealed carry pistol, if the wife is not into it, is like trying to push a rope.
Right.
Michelle, help me out here.
Well, I think you're exactly it. They have to come to having a concealed carry and committing to be a concealed carry person on their own. It's not something that can be forced. So I guess the first question is that something that she even wants?
Well, I think she wants it. She's got her permit, and and she's shot. She's relatively good shot. She needs to go train. I was going to send her up to Seattle, that school up there.
Right, Firearms Academy of Seattle. Yeah, that's a real good. Now that's a good Christmas present right there.
And so, but you didn't have a pistol, so I told his son, I said, well, I want to give her that for a gift, but if she didn't have a pistol, I don't think that, I don't know. So anyway, I think the rifle would be fun to have, but I don't think it's necessary. And he's got a couple other guns, and so.
Well, the thing is, you know what? That's going to be his call. If he wants the rifle, I wouldn't get in the way of that. 243 versus 6.5 Creedmoor is going to be a personal choice. 243 will shoot a long way with some of the loads we have now. It'd be a nice rifle. One of the things that's going to be a real issue is it is difficult sometimes to find that Ruger rifle, and especially in the 6.5 Creedmoor, because that's the one that everybody wants. That's Michelle, I don't know what you're seeing, but that's what I'm finding.
Well, and that was the next suggestion that I had, too. Possibly the conversion on this, which way he goes, is whether or not he can even get the rifle, because as a retailer, we're having a hard time coming up with them as well. So it might not be a doable thing. You know, might be a couple of months down the road, and maybe save up for that and take care of his wife first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know. I think isn't the ammunition harder to get on the 6.5 other than the 243?
I would think so.
I don't know.
It's a little more specialized. I don't think everybody has it on the shelf, but I know that it is available. Hornady makes some great rounds.
It's out there, yeah.
Yeah, you can find it. You just got to poke around. I mean, but 243 you can find everywhere. But here's the other part of it is the 243 ammo you can find everywhere is not going to be your long distance loads, your long range loads.
Right.
So those are going to be probably just as difficult or easy to find as 6.5. That's what I would advise him the best you can. Then mostly I would get out the way. He's an adult. Let it go. Just don't worry about it. At a certain point,
I'm not worried about it. I'm just trying. I just wanted to find out from you because he doesn't get your show down there, and so I just wanted to ask
but
you
a big attaboy to you. And I love the idea of you giving her, or maybe both of them, a class at the Firearms Academy of Seattle up there in. It's close to Chehalis. Washington.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's a great school. They're really nice people. Gila Hayes and Marty Hayes, they do a great job. Husband and wife team, good instructors, and so that's a really good way to go because they will get the mindset training there. They'll come away from it. She'll come away with it going, okay, yeah, there really are bad people, and I really now that I have the skill set, it would be foolish to not get serious about this. All right, I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's go ahead, as long as we're on a roll, before we hit our break, let's get Rick in here from Bossier City on 4. Hey, Rick, what's happening?
Hi, good afternoon. I just got a quick question. I was listening to the show earlier, and the guy was talking about his wife who has arthritic hands. I have the same issue. My wife would like to get her concealed carry, but she has arthritis in her hands, and she has a lot of difficulty trying to squeeze in the trigger. So for the most part, a revolver is out of the question. So I know rifles come with adjustable triggers, so I was wondering if you were aware of anything in a reasonable caliber in a handgun that can have an adjustable trigger on it.
Not really. You guys think of anything? The problem is for it to be reliable and robust, as a trigger has to be on a defensive gun, you don't want it to be really adjustable and have a particularly light trigger. Michelle, anything coming to mind?
No, I can't come up with any pistol that has adjustability on its own. Obviously, reliability and legality reasons, they can't always do that. But maybe my suggestion would be to take her to the store and have her handle and maybe shoot several guns and then see if particular models would allow a very notable gunsmith to be able to do any kind of trigger work to it, maybe make it easier for her to be able to pull. Obviously, the first consideration is the weight.
Right. And I guess the other question I would have, Rick, is can she operate the slide on a semi-auto?
Well, I could always chamber around and put it on safety for her. That's not an issue. But
that's not good enough.
I'm asking for some suggestions here.
Well, SIG has a couple of guns, and I don't know what kind of experience your wife has. And the little 380s and the smaller 9mm that SIG Arms puts out there are lightweight springs. They are very easy for women in general or anybody with arthritic or even elderly hands to function and operate. With that, they have a little bit more recoil. So I would say what kind of training versus you're going to give up one thing to have the other.
Right. Well, I have a Walther 380 that she's shot, and it's a little too much for her.
That's going to be, yeah.
You know, Tom, I'm wondering if that Smith & Wesson 22, I know 22 is not the optimum round, but it's super easy to chamber that M&P.
They have an M&P compact, a 22 compact, that would, yes, it's a 22, but the slide on it, you can work it with your little finger. It's just almost no resistance, and it has a single act. Well, you have one, Jim. That's a single action trigger pull, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I was curious about, Ruger makes that little 6-shot LCR and a 22 Magnum that's hammerless, and I was just wondering if that had an adjustable trigger. I thought that might be a nice little carry for her.
It's not adjustable, but going to Michelle's suggestion is she needs to go to the store and try different ones and make sure she can work the trigger. But here's the other thing. She absolutely has to be able to work the slide, because if that gun malfunctions, she has to know how to work the slide and fix it. She can't have you loading the gun for her. That's not going to work.
I understand.
All right.
Okay. All right, well, I'll give you some thought, then. I'll look into that little 22.
If it helps you at all, Rick, my mother's 88 years old, and she shot it this weekend, and she had no problem chambering it, and she's not a very physically strong woman.
Okay, that was the M&P compact?
Yep.
Okay, I've got the M&P long rifle, so I'll let her shoot that, see what you think.
Sweet.
Yeah, the good idea. Try that. All right. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back, and we've got some other things to talk about. Be right back.
Want your next gun purchase to be fast and hassle-free? Well, at galleryofguns.com, you can search through thousands of models from our huge firearms inventory. Find a great offer from a local dealer that includes all fees and taxes. And there's no need to arrange a transfer. Gallery of Guns takes a small deposit on your credit card, and your gun will be at your chosen dealer in as little as 48 hours. Plus, your gun will be covered by our guaranteed lifetime replacement warranty. Galleryofguns.com. Search, find, buy. It really is just that easy.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine, and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
All right, we are back, in fact, and now it is Michelle and Jim and me, because everybody else left. What are they trying to tell us, guys?
They got smart.
One-track minds?
That's right. And it says, we're done with you people. I don't want to talk to you. So
I barely tolerated the first 3 hours, let alone another. You got to be kidding me.
Oh, my God. I actually have a life out here. I'm going to go watch The Voice for 12 hours.
There you go. Priorities.
That's right. Dancing with the Schmoes or something. I don't know. You can tell what a fan I am of those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We had a super turkey. I have to talk for a second about our turkey. My brother, who has run restaurants for 45 years and is a terrific chef, first of all, he says, well, I accidentally bought a big turkey. I said, how do you do that?
I slipped.
That's what my wife says. Did you slip and fall into the big counter there and come up with this monster turkey? So we ended up there's 5 of us, and we have a 21-pound turkey.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Leftovers.
No kidding. But he brines this turkey for 24 hours, soaks it in this brine solution, and then as part of, and this was very cool, as part of the preparation, you can pull the skin back on a turkey without removing it. And he coats his hands in garlic butter, and he's slipping it inside of the skin and rubbing all in there, and then leaves the skin on there and cooked it. It was incredible.
It stays super moist that way.
Road trip.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It was terrific, man.
I'm ready for some more turkey.
Yeah, I was turkeyed out until I heard that.
That's right. I thought I would never have turkey again. So here we are. When we went out for the clay target shooting, I have a Beretta. It's a youth model semi-auto 20 gauge.
Oh, cool.
That is a great gun for not just for kids, but for a lot of women. It's actually too big for little kids. If I had a little bitty kid, I would probably get the Mossberg Bantam. It's a little bit short. Really short stock. But this thing is great for anybody who's in the 5'6" range down to 5 feet tall.
Wouldn't that make a good home defense gun? 20 gauge is fine for home defense. No?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, not a problem at all. it's probably, let me see, I think it holds 5 rounds, which generally speaking, with a shotgun, if you can't solve the problem with 5 shots, you probably are not going to solve it with any number of shots. So, because generally when somebody starts shooting a shotgun inside of a house, people who are not supposed to be there tend to leave.
Persuasion.
Just kind of the way it works, because it's like really, really, really loud. Oh, we also we were loaning out the electronic earmuffs, and people were kind of figuring that out. I was amazed. Now, these were not like active people who shoot a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And they're hunters. But I was amazed at how many of them were not wearing hearing protection or eye protection when they walked up to the line. And so we just basically did a correction on that. I said, no. You can do whatever you want when I'm not here, but when I'm here, you're going to wear eye protection. Nobody's going to shoot without eye protection.
Oh, yeah.
Did they just assume that you would have it there for them?
No, they always shoot without it.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Wow.
I know.
There's an accident waiting to happen.
Really?
Ooh, I can understand in the field if you had to. I can't.
Yeah, but even then.
Man. I've had that ringing in my ears before. It's awful.
What?
Huh?
Well, here's the one I love. The guy who says, well, I said, here, use these muffs. He says, no. He says, look, I've already lost 75% on one side and 80 on the other side. I don't need to worry about that.
Okay.
I'm thinking, wait. I'm thinking I kind of would go the other way. I've only got 20% left, and I want to hold on to every one of those percentage points.
You ain't kidding.
I don't understand that. This was the extended family and friends of family way out there. Because trust me, anybody who's in my immediate family would not show up try to pull something like that.
Yeah, I learned the hard way with that before electric muffs were out. I had a muff, I pulled it off my ear to talk to somebody at the line, and I was coaching them. I was more concerned about their muzzle, etc. And I remember what it was. It was a 22-250, I think. Yikes. I learned.
Well, it does make you a believer in the electronic muffs, though, doesn't it?
The only feature I wish that they'd add to those, and it'd probably make it price-wise, but some kind of low audio delay turn-off. Because every time I go to pull these out of my shooting bag, my batteries are dead. Because whoever used them forgets to turn them off. I forget to turn them off. It would be cool if they didn't hear.
I think, the ones I have, I get the cheap ones. They're Howard Lights.
Okay.
But they cut off automatically. If you forget to turn them off, they turn off.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think I probably have the cheaper version of those, the Howard Light.
Well, I know where you can get some of those, Jim, for stocking stuffers. Yes.
Okay.
And we have colors now.
Sweet.
Oh, wait, I didn't know they had colors in those?
Oh, yeah. They've got purple, they've got teal, they've got the black, they've got the olive drab green. Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
All I've ever found is that dark green, which, it's fine, but it'd be kind of nice to have some different colors.
Right.
All right, well, I'm out of here. I got to head down to Cleveland. I'll be back a little bit.
Well, we got rid of him.
Michelle, call the store. Tell him he's coming. Lock the door. Don't let him in.
But no, they're a lot of fun. You can personalize it and make your own. And, let's be honest, too, with the fact that we're getting so many more women into the industry, it just gives them their own identification. They're fun.
Kind of like pink guns and stuff.
Yeah, really.
Kind of stuff. The other thing I get weirded out about colored guns is the temptation to pull it out and show somebody. Oh, look at my gun.
Well, people do that one time around me, and then we have an immediate conversation. The conversation would be after I've reached out and grabbed the gun.
Yeah.
I have, on more than one occasion, when somebody wanted to show me a gun, essentially snatched it away, or at least reached out and put my hand on it so that we both have our hands on it, and I have control of it until I see what's going on.
Yep.
If it's somebody I don't know, obviously.
But you might offend somebody, Tom.
Yeah, and that bothers me a lot. You can tell.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really concerned about that.
We'll address that after I make sure the gun's not loaded and pointed at me.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, Michelle, it happened in your store when I did that appearance there.
That's
and one of your customers. Not remember that? Remember that?
Yeah,
and the guy was so excited, and he's got this soft case with a pistol in it. I'm looking. He said, I want to show you and he starts to pull out this gun in the middle of the store. And Michelle, your staff knows how to deal with that. That's what they do all the time.
Probably every day.
That's an everyday occurrence for you guys. And I'm thinking, man, this place is full of people, and I don't know what the story is on that gun. And I reached there and said, hey, let me take a look at that. It looks great. and just made sure my hand was on at the same time and pulled it out and then worked the action. Okay, yeah, we're open. Okay, good. But I probably would not be a good gun salesman, honestly. I don't. Your guys must have the patience. It's incredible.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up, because just this week working into the store, and of course we've got a lot of people coming through right now that may or may not have a lot of knowledge to firearms, which we enjoy that too. I mean, we love to introduce people to it and give them the education. And one of the guys kept saying, "Why do you keep doing that?" I said, "Doing what?" He says, "Why do you keep pulling back that thing?" I said, "Oh, I'm pulling back the slide to make sure it's not loaded." I said, I could hand it to you. Yeah, I could hand it to you 7 times, the same gun, and I'm going to do that every time if you give it to me. It's just my nature. That's the first thing I'm going to do.
Good habit.
Yeah, but so people who don't, I mean, they have no idea, and they don't, and like you say, they get excited and it's unloaded. Well, not until I see it.
Not until I've looked at it, that's for sure. I don't care what you tell me, I don't know. And here's the thing, it's not that I don't know you that well. Even if I know you that well. I mean, Michelle, if you handed me a gun, you would not be offended if I looked at it and made sure it was unloaded, right?
Oh, heck no. I'd be offended if you didn't do that. First of all, I wouldn't hand it to you not open, but...
Exactly.
But
and for those who don't know, I guess you know what? Explain what you mean when you say handing a gun to somebody then it's open.
Well, that would be with the cylinder in the out position, so it's not locked into motion, so the hammer can't be cocked or the trigger couldn't be pulled, or on a semi-auto with the slide racked and locked open, which means sometimes you have to have the magazine in. Not all the guns have a little lock slide. But, it is open, so I can see down the barrel, so I can see your magazine on the semi-autos, that there's nothing there. It's completely clear
somebody 10 feet away can look over and say, okay, that action is open. I know the gun is not loaded and ready to fire.
Exactly. The same thing with a rifle. You know, bolt back, shotgun, pump action open.
Now, what do you do like on a Ruger 1022?
I usually just shoot all the ammo out of it into the ceiling. It works really well. Then it locks back at the end, really.
And he said he wanted to be a gun salesman. Wonder why they didn't hire him.
Maybe not.
We'll try you out for a day.
Well,
I never got a call back. Huh?
There are some guns, you know, like with the 223s, with the ARs, for instance, you pull it back, you know, if you don't have the magazine in there, everybody's seen that you've pulled it back. They know that it's not loaded because obviously a piece of brass isn't slapping them in the face. Right. And then you can hand the gun. But I think people are pretty conscious when they come into the store, if they're any kind of gun person, about where they point it and how they point it. And we tried to design our store so that wouldn't be an issue, too. So, you know.
Well, now that's interesting. What do you mean? You mean the way people, where they're standing and when they're handling a firearm?
Right. Like if try not to put it in an area where people are going to be constantly walking back and forth in front of them, because it gets uncomfortable. You're not always certain what people are doing or what they're thinking, or, you know, what's a real gun loaded, not loaded type of thing, because people want to dry fire them. They want to feel that trigger. They want to feel how the firearm actually functions, and we encourage that. So if you have a spot that's designated on the flat wall where it's not being pointed over someone, that's the perfect setup.
So you have a place on the wall for people to dry fire, to point their guns?
Yes. We have right behind our
target, or how do you designate it? I mean, I like this idea. This is cool.
Oh, you could hang a target up there. That'd be a great idea. You know, just to have a couple of bullseyes or something.
Have a target up there and then have a sign that says "dry fire target." Mm-hmm. That's a great idea.
But it definitely takes the opportunity for a deadly error to happen. You know, if they're just.
You said something pretty interesting. You said there's some people come in, we don't know if they're gun people. I think, from what I've seen at your place, even the gun aficionados that you've been dealing with for 30 years come in. You don't drop your guard just because you know they know what they're doing and they're safe.
Right.
I was talking to Chad the other day and handling a couple guns, and he knows I have a clue of what I'm doing. He stood right there. He was ready.
Okay, go on.
I got him fooled, is what I mean.
No, she talked to him, so she got him straightened out.
Whatever he does, keep an eye on him. But, I mean, just simple stuff, handling back and forth. He knew it was unloaded. I knew it was unloaded. When I handed it back to him, same kind of deal, and he didn't take his eyes off it. And he knows I'm not going to do anything stupid,
right?
But he doesn't drop his guard.
No.
And I haven't seen anybody at your place do that.
No, I think we have to be on high alert always.
For everybody.
Yes. To get specific, if I have a semi-auto in my hands and I've dry fired it, the first thing I'm going to do after I dry fire it, I'm going to rack the slide back. I'm going to push the slide lock up with my thumb. I'm going to lock the slide into the rear position, and only then will I ever hand a gun to someone. You do it with the slide locked back, and I would expect the same thing. And that way, we all know this gun is not loaded, and it is not in a condition where it could fire. Like you say, same thing with a revolver. You swing the cylinder out. If it's a single action revolver, what you could do is you swing the loading gate out, and you leave it on an out position, and that way the gun can't fire like that.
Well, I think just as important as all of those things are, the way that you hand it to somebody is equally important. I am essentially handing it to you as you are taking a hold of the grip. So I have hold of the muzzle barrel end of the gun, handing it to you. So my finger's not even around that trigger.
So when I hand it to you, if it's a semi-auto, I'm going to have my hand over the top of the gun on the slide so that you can handle it by the grip. When you take it, you'll have a good grip on it. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to fumble the hand off.
Right. Yeah.
So each of you has a good hold on it.
Right. Well, and the other thing, too, when you present like that, they can see the breech.
Right.
And not just the slide's back. Well, the breech is. Now, what about mag, Tom? Do you drop the mag too, even though you know it's empty, or do you hand it to them with an empty mag?
I'll almost always have the mag out. What I'll do is I'll rack slide back and pop the mag out.
Okay.
That way, there's no source of ammunition possible. There's no magazine there, and the slide's locked back, so we know there's nothing in the chamber.
That's what I figured you'd say.
Well, it's kind of like, why wouldn't we? It's one of those little life lessons. If somebody is working the slide and they've seen 2 live rounds come out as they're working the slide before they hand it to you, that might be a clue that things are not exactly as they should be.
Yep.
Well,
you're working ammo out of the magazine, and you're still feeding the gun.
And depending on how trained they are, people automatically want to put their finger immediately right on that trigger. So if you're not trained to keep it at the side until you're actually on target, and then move your finger down into the trigger guard, then it's a bigger concern. So it just gets to be a bigger and bigger concern, and even more important for all of those reasons.
Here's an interesting thing I know to be true. People will actually adopt safe behavior more quickly, not because it's safe, but because they don't want to embarrass themselves to look like they're ignorant. So what I would say to people is, if you don't want to look like a doofus, then handle the gun safely. The side effect is it'll be safe, but the real benefit to you is you won't look stupid to everybody else.
Kind of sad that it comes down to that.
It is, but there it is.
Yeah, whatever works.
So, Michelle, I want to hear a little bit more about the Ruger.
Well, I was telling Jim, honestly, to really see my mother-in-law's eyes light up, because we've talked so many times. There's nothing really new. There's all remixes. Mm-hmm. They come out with one thing that's a little bit different, but it's a remix of the original gun.
Mm-hmm. And she's seen it all.
She has seen it all. And so when she shot this, I'm not kidding, she was like, wow, after the first round. And she was like, oh my gosh, for being a double action only gun, that is an impressive action. And we haven't dialed it up. We haven't done anything to it at this point in time. And the target that we have between her and I and my sister shooting, it's 50 rounds. And I'm not kidding you, the black is tore out of this target. And it was just super, super fun. And of course, we shot the 32 longs, just some MagTech 32 long ammo. Sure. And we put a couple of 327s through. But even weak-handed shooting that gun, it's still easy. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's not a difficult trigger pull. You think it would be. It times up well. They've done a great job with that.
Yeah.
So
we're talking about the Ruger LCR, their little, they call it the light compact revolver in 327 Federal. And I know we've said this before, but for just in case somebody hasn't picked it up, you can shoot 327 Federal. It's Magnum ammo. You can shoot 32 H&R Magnum ammo in it, and you can shoot the 32 Smith & Wesson long, right?
Right. So 32 Smith & Wesson long, 32 H&R, and 327 Mag.
You can't.
And it's like you got light loads, medium loads, and real heavy loads. So you can practice, and it doesn't kick a lot, and yet you have a really seriously good self-defense load in there in the 327.
Could you use 32 auto with a speed clip or something, or not speed clip, but a
with the
half
moon
clip? Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to go look at the specs on that.
In the back of the cylinder.
I don't know what the outside. I don't know what the outside diameter is of the case and all of that. So without looking at it, I don't know.
Oh, I got a ball peen. It won't be a problem getting the rounds in.
I hope you find your own gun. By the way, they have one of those over there, too.
Do they have one? They have one in stock?
Oh, my gosh. Yes,
What?
they do.
They won't Monday.
Or
a
more.
ball peen hammer? What do they have?
No, a little LCR. Well, in the 327.
Really? You got one in stock at your store?
Well, we did.
Sorry, Jim.
No,
It's going to cost you money.
I may delay posting the show just so any local listeners can't hear it and beat me out on it.
You got 15 minutes and we close.
The show always comes out on Monday morning. I didn't get this week's till Thursday. Yeah, but Jim's got a really cool revolver now.
I say it
I've
over
never
and
heard
over
you
again.
talk about a gun like this.
Yeah,
I
she's
know.
stoked.
I know. It is awesome. And I can't say enough about how well they did justice to this revolver. It's 6 shots. I have an SP-101. It's only 5. And it's a beaut to shoot. It's just great.
Tom, to give you
There you go.
To give you a little indicator, Tom, I stopped by the shop for some other stuff this week. And Michelle wasn't there, but Chad was. And he said, "Oh, have you seen the pistol?" So he brings it out. And I'm running late. I've got to be in 3 other places, And he says, he pulls out 2 boxes of ammo and goes, "You want to shoot it?" And he's never there. And he was busy, too. He had a lot of stuff to do. He
Sure.
said, "You want to shoot it?" I said, "Do I want to or can I?" He's like, "You're kidding me. You can't? You don't have 5 minutes?" I said, "No." It hurt. It really hurt to walk out.
Well,
man.
we've been trying to get together for 2 weeks to try to make that happen. It will, but it seriously is like shooting a 22 with those 32 longs out of it. It is nothing to be afraid of.
Amazing. I mean, isn't it cool that we have new guns that get you stoked like this after we've all seen all these other guns?
It truly is. Like I said, normally they're just all remixes. This is just incredible. They changed the bar with those double action pistols.
There's some new stuff coming out that we've been hearing about. We're actually going to be doing some work with companies things that are going to be announced at SHOT Show. You know what happened? I think everybody kind of stopped developing, or at least they stopped introducing new product when they were selling everything a couple of years ago. I mean, why bring out a new product when you could sell everything that you're making?
And couldn't keep up with it.
Right.
And couldn't keep up. Well, now that's over, and so now we're seeing these new products and new developments come out that probably were sitting on the shelf that they said, no, there's no point in starting production on them right now because we'd have to shut down a line that's running full tilt 24/7.
So like what?
Yes.
Yes.
Dang it.
Good try.
I'm trying, America.
I mean, these lawyers that make me sign these NDAs would not be happy. So, but soon enough, we will have some very cool stuff. And some, as you say, some are kind of variations on a theme, and some are different finishes, and some are different barrel lengths. But some are pretty cool, and you're going, that's very enthusiastic to go there with this.
Well,
I mean, who would have thought of even this little revolver? It's just such a neat idea.
Well, and it used to be 1 gun a year. That was a major thing, undertaking
That's
one
true.
new gun a year.
What are they coming out with this year? Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's like, oh my gosh, what do they have now? They just put this one out there.
Yeah.
How'd they make it better?
Yes. And 6 weeks later, they've got a new gun out, and Ruger said they're going to be selling 2 million guns this year. So
It's worthwhile to mention again, Ruger has that buyback or trade-in, actually.
LC9,
with the LC9S that you can, trade in your LC9 and get the new S. And people are loving that LC9S pistol. It's just a lot smoother for most shooters.
Oh, it is. It's really a great trade.
You guys probably have a lot more good new used guns then.
Right.
The LC9s that you had.
Right. I mean, they're still good guns.
Oh, no doubt.
But take advantage of what they have put out there because that's only temporary.
And the other thing is, like Johnny Dury said in the interview, is that used guns are a good deal. I mean, people don't wear out guns. It's just almost unheard of.
Right.
They get tired of them or they need money. In fact, one of the things that Johnny mentioned to me off the air, he's down in Texas, where they've got the oil industry down there. And, of course, as the price of gasoline goes down, which the rest of us are thinking is great, people are losing their jobs in the oil industry. Well, a lot of them are coming in and selling guns. So there's a lot of used guns hitting the market. So, it's one of those, if there's a little bit of a depression in a particular part of the country, a lot of times you'll start seeing guns being sold and being available used that were not before. It's kind of an interesting little twist.
It's a shame, but it's
trickle down.
But, yeah. Well,
it's a shame, but there you go.
Or even deaths in the family. If somebody doesn't have the same views and they just don't want the firearms, there's always estates to be gotten rid of.
Speaking of that, I want to say Buffalo, but I'm pretty sure it was New York. I read
go ahead and say Buffalo.
Okay, I said it. Buffalo. There. It's been
said. Buffalo. Yeah, I'll say Buffalo too. Okay. Right.
Buffalo.
Because you wanted to say Buffalo. Okay, good.
They're using gun registration to confiscate guns from people who have passed away. So if I have 10 guns and I die, I can't give them to my kid. The state's going to go.
Right. And they will actually look at the obits and go and cross-reference that against gun registration, and they will go to the house to confiscate the guns of people who died before the family can do anything with them.
Okay, this is the first time I've heard of that. It shouldn't shock me, but wow, what chills.
But it's shocking.
Seriously.
So here's the thing. When a member of your family dies, and if you live in one of these non-freedom states like New York, unfortunately, yes, what you probably need to do is get them out of the state.
Wow.
Isn't that a bite in the rear?
You put it a lot
and
nicer
then you got
than
this thing like in Oregon. We're going to be in Oregon in 2 weeks shooting video. We're going to be handling firearms. And we're running up against this deal. They say, well, we can't actually give you the firearm to go out to the range with.
I was just going to ask you, do they have to do the shooting?
No. If you're at the range, you can hand a gun to somebody else as long as you are with them. But they couldn't, if we're at the gun company, they can't say, here's the gun, run out to the range and do some video with it. No.
Because
we would have to go do an FBI background check.
Leaves the store, you have to do,
What a cross.
Yeah, exactly. And, a lot of people are ignoring it, of course. I'm not going to do that, especially when we're shooting video and do it all. It's kind of like, is there any evidence that you did this? Well, yeah, we put it on TV. I don't know, Yeah.
It was all CG, though. It never happened.
Yeah, right. So, we're running up against that. And Bloomberg and his minions are going to be doing this, all these phony grassroots outfits that he creates, the mothers and Everytown for gun safety. Those are all AstroTurf groups that Bloomberg funded. But he keeps pouring these millions of dollars into it. And you walk into a state with a $10 million ad buy, you can get it passed on a referendum. You can make it sound like motherhood and apple pie.
Right. Well, it's like, don't you want your kids to be safe? Yes, that's why I taught them how to shoot.
Right. Well, it's like the wording. It's like the Safe Hearing Act.
Right.
That's brilliant.
Right.
Brilliant use of language.
But
that's right. So we're going to legalize silencers so that we're not damaging our hearing.
Well, the way to prevent, obviously, the children and accidental shootings and stuff from happening is to let them use them under supervised, any kind of an adult, kind of supervised situation. So if they ask, can I shoot that? Yes, let me put down my mop and let's go.
Yeah.
Teach them, and it won't be a situation that they'll be afraid of and pick one up at their buddy's house and something happen. Teach them.
I just see this story just popped up as we're talking here after the shooting at the Planned Parenthood Center in Colorado Springs. The Colorado governor blames the shooting on inflammatory rhetoric from bloggers and talk radio. Yeah, we're not going to blame the guy who actually went out there to murder people. No. Let's blame somebody we don't like and try to put it on. And of course, it didn't take Obama, but just almost instantly, he comes out and says, enough is enough. We have to do something about guns. Well, yeah, we got a mentally ill guy who decided to kill people. And you think that this is you know what? It just is disgusting. It's just disgusting. His willingness to dance in the blood of innocent people and to push an agenda. And boy, this is going to be his agenda this year, guys.
Oh, yeah.
He has decided. He's even announced, he said, this is my issue as he's heading out the door. And I'm just thinking, come on, I want the door to hit him in the butt and make him get out of here. But he is going to make gun control his thing.
Yeah, people really have to wake up, get politically active, and take charge of the destination that our country's headed.
Exactly. Let me dig this out. I had it earlier. Looking for a piece of paper here, guys. Stand by.
We'll talk amongst ourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm digging.
Jim's watching the clock thinking, I got 9 minutes.
Yeah. Countdown. Actually, this is the perfect time for the Jim Dumb Move of the Week.
Oh.
Brought to you by your friends.
Oh, yes.
I always use it. Not always, obviously. I wasn't this time. I went back for a particular reason to a crotch carry type holster. And I always carried a Kimber or a Taurus in it. And it was fine, and it would always draw fine. So I'm running out of the house. And I grab the holster, get dressed, slide a Glock in. 26, I think. Is that the 9? 26? I always lose the numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
26, slide it in there, go about my business. Everything's great. I get home, go to withdraw it from the holster, won't come out. The trigger guard and the sight were snagging on the cloth. Now,
you hadn't tried it.
You should never carry a gun in a holster you haven't trained with, and I broke a cardinal rule. Thank goodness I didn't need to. But, I mean, I pulled it and got stuck. I was like, I must have got caught on my gut or my belt or something. Nope. Sure enough, that holster's not good with that style gun, and it would have been really
let me tell you, with that kind of carry, if you were fully adrenalized, when you pull that gun out and you got your underwear hanging from the muzzle, that is really not a good way to intimidate the bad guy. I just got to tell you.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden's method's way better, just shooting the air than underwear. You don't want to offend him.
The whole crotch carry thing inside the pants. As you know, I have tried that, and
you hate it. Yeah, I know.
I'm not happy with when you sit down with the muzzle pointing in front of you, which means it's pointing at everybody across the room. That's the whole deal.
Yeah, I get it.
Oh, but here's the deal. I was going to mention we're talking about Obama, we're talking about his legacy. We have the special thing like for the next 30 days, NRA Life membership at a really good price. It's $500. Right now it's $1,000, but I think they said in January it's going up to $1,500.
15, yeah.
$1,500. So this would be a third of that. But this is only good. You got to use the GUNTALK number to get this. And the number is 888-678-7894. One more time, 888-678-7894. And you get NRA Life membership for $500. Not a cheap Christmas present, but amortized over a long time, especially give it to a youngster. That's a pretty good deal.
That's an awesome deal for a youngster. I mean, even as an adult, it's still a viable.
It is.
Yeah, I gave away a few of them the last time they did that. What a deal.
Right.
I tried to get them, to do the $300 again. They said, no, we can't do that, because that was about a third. They said, but we could do $500, which is going to be a third of what the new price is. I said, okay, well, we'll take what we can get.
Even at that, $1,000, normally you're getting it for $5. I mean,
it's $10 a week.
Right, it's half off. And I don't know, do they do payment plans?
Probably not on a discount like that.
Probably not, but you're right, Jim. It's like if you amortize, it's $10 a week, and you're there
for life for 1 year.
If you skipped a Big Mac meal one a week, you'd have it paid for.
Well, and your voice is there that we need to have, and you get a really cool magazine of your choice, and there's all kinds of things that come off of that membership. So.
You just said The Voice. Is it on TV right now?
That's right.
It's my favorite show.
I don't know. Tom, is the voice
Dancing
on?
Dancing with the Schmoes.
Schmoes. I love that. I'm going to steal that, by the
way. That's right. Consider that stolen. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, all right. Well, let's see. It's still time to jump online and buy stuff with the Black Friday, Cyber Monday super sale deal. Mm-hmm. So I have if I hadn't just bought a lot of ammo, I don't know, did I tell you about the ammo purchase I made? 10,000 rounds of ammo. And I buy it the same way everybody else does. I just go online and find, the deal. And we've got several places. I mean, Brownell sells ammo and a couple of other places do, and they usually have really good deals. Especially right now is a good time to buy ammo. The ammo thing is going to go crazy again. I don't know when. I don't know what's going to precipitate it, but something is going to happen. At some point, it's going to go nutso again. Well, if Hillary gets elected, Katie barred the door, because she has made that a big part of her campaign. When she names you and me and the three of us as the enemies that she is proudest of, in the debate, she was asked, what enemies do you have that you're proudest of? And she names the NRA. Well, that's us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we don't feel too highly about her either, so it all kind of washes out. But I don't consider her an enemy. That's the whole thing. I may not like her, I may not support her, but to say someone is your enemy, what do you do to an enemy? You want to destroy your enemy. Not just defeat, you want to destroy your enemy. Mm-hmm. She wants to destroy us. It was breathtaking to hear that. You have identified 5 million Americans as your enemy. I guess my point is, if she gets elected, we're talking about buying stuff, the prices will skyrocket. Right. We remember when there was no ammo on the shelves. None. Right. You couldn't find a round of ammo. Remember when you could get an AR for $1,000 way back when?
Or $500 right now in some places. Yeah. Right. And people were buying them at $1,600 to $2,000 and thinking, hey, I'm glad I remember the guy he found 1,000 rounds of .223. He bought it and he was walking out the store and he stopped and said, wait a minute, I don't own a gun in .223.
My goodness. Well, we can make that happen,
but he was
too.
so excited that he found it.
Well, it's true, though, as to how quickly the public forgets. The .223 ammo. We had a problem with most of the Target ammo. Everything.
And I don't think 22's rebounded back yet. I mean, you can get it once in a while. But.
Yeah, we haven't seen that at our store, definitely in the retail side. But, it's true. You can't forget. And if you have the ability to budget that into a weekly situation, then I think everybody needs to do that. And that's not coming from a sales standpoint. That's just coming from a reality check.
Even if you said, okay, I'm going to skip my Starbucks, 2 or 3 times a week and put that into ammo, you can actually buy a fair amount of ammo in the course of a year off of that.
We're officially at our longest after show ever.
Woo!
Da-da-da-da!
Okay, we've broken the record. Ta-da!
Let's go all night. No.
After show.
Let me know how that works out for you.
Water. I need water.
Please. All right. It's time for us to stop this foolishness and everybody go home. And now that the store's closed, it's safe to let Jim go.
That's right.
Damn
See? If only you
Michelle,
knew somebody.
Call over there and tell him to take it off the shelf.
Yes,
him when he gets there, it's already sold.
I need a pistol and all the electronic earmuffs off the wall.
Wow, I didn't realize the list price was $17,000 on this last one you got.
It is so worth it.
Yeah, that's right. They're hard to come by, man. What can I tell you? It's not gouging. It's just supply and demand. That's all it is. And that's different how?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All righty.
Well, next week we'll have a little bit more of a report on some of the guns we're able to see and talk about this week. In the meantime, I'm going to buy stuff. Tomorrow is still a good day for buying things, whether it's at your local store like Cleveland's or online or wherever you go. There are deals out there. And, when you go to a store like Cleveland's, check your GUNTALK
I was going to say that, too.
And you will find out that when you buy a particular gun, but you can also get 2 free mags by contacting the company, and so you get the deals. So they're there no matter where you buy from.
There have been a lot of alerts coming out on GUNTALK, I have to say.
Yes, there have been.
Mine's been dinging for the last 3 days. It's been going bing.
Yep.
Or actually, you hit that sound, shotgun racking sound, and going, saving money here.
That's awesome.
Right. We'll see you guys next week.
Be good.
Bye, Tom.
Tell your friends about the Gun Talk After Show, a more informal setting featuring Tom, Michelle, and Jim commenting on topics that are important to you. Available on iTunes and other podcatchers, and the GUNTALK smartphone app for iPhone and Android.